The first of these two lessons on agreement gave an introduction to relevant grammatical terms and examples of learner errors. We'll start this lesson with a brief review of that information and then look at some of the difficulties that even native speakers have with this aspect of grammar. So here are some common agreement errors made by learners of English. The middle column shows the two parts of speech that are incorrectly matched. The column on the right shows the agreement error type in each case: number, person, or gender. Here are the corrections. For example, the gender of the noun son in the first sentence now matches the gender of its pronoun him. And the second person pronoun you in the second sentence now matches the second person verb form are. This correct grammatical matching is called formal agreement. Native speakers do not make basic mistakes of formal agreement, but they often override the formal matching rules. This happens when the speaker conceives of the plural subject of the sentence as a singular entity. Here are three examples. Another example of regarding the plural subject as a singular entity is the word data. Data is a plural word. Its singular form is datum. But as you can see from these Google screenshots, the singular verb form is much more common than the grammatically correct plural verb form. The opposite is the case when the grammatically singular subject is conceived as a plurality of individuals, and hence the plural verb form is used. This overriding of the rules of formal agreement often occurs with collective or proper nouns, as shown here. Notional agreement is the term for this subject-verb mismatch, and it is here that there is most uncertainty about acceptability. Few people will have a problem with $50 is not much to pay for a phone, or 10 hours is too long to be on social media every day. But mathematicians and scientists are less likely to find the data is incomplete acceptable. And many American native speakers of English will reject all or most of the subject-verb mismatches in these sentences. Here are two more examples of notional agreement that are found unacceptable by some. Everyone is to bring their dictionary to class, and someone has left their phone on the floor. They claim that you should not match a grammatical singular subject, everyone, with a plural possessive pronoun there. After all, we say everyone is and someone has, not everyone are or someone have. But such purists are losing this battle, as most people nowadays seem happy to accept the grammatical number mismatch to alternatives such as everyone is to bring his or her dictionary to class. Or even less acceptable, everyone is to bring his dictionary to class if the class also consists of female students. Quiz page. Pause the video if you want to review the questions and answers before continuing. Right, let's look briefly at a third type of agreement to add to formal agreement and notional agreement, namely proximity agreement. As its name suggests, this is verb agreement based on the closest noun. In the two sentences here, we see in each case that the verb agrees in grammatical number with the number of the proper noun that immediately precedes it. Proximity agreement is quite common in spoken language when the subject noun is post-modified or otherwise separated by some distance from the verb it governs. Here are two examples. This kind of grammatical number mismatch of subject, noun and verb should be avoided in formal written text. Okay, let's now look at some tricky subject-verb matchings where many native speakers are uncertain of the formally correct choice. On the next two slides, there will be several examples of these problematic cases. Pause the slide each time to make your own choice. Here's the next set of sentences with alternative subject-verb matchings. Again, pause the video if you wish to decide on your preference in each case. This slide and the next one show my preferences in blue. I believe these to be the most acceptable verb form in each case, assuming that we're talking about formal written language here. My preference in each case is the blue verb form. If you return to the lesson index, you can click a link to a page where I explain the reasons for my preferences in this and the previous slide sentences. Okay, let's draw a few conclusions from the lesson so far. Firstly, grammatical agreement is not a clear-cut issue, particularly number agreement. Be aware that whatever subject-verb agreement you choose in contentious cases, there will be native speakers who believe that you are wrong. Secondly, if you're unsure about how to achieve the most appropriate agreement, you could consult a good usage guide, such as those shown on this page, or ask online, for example at English Language and Usage. Thirdly, the best solution to a tricky agreement problem is often simply to rewrite the questionable part of the text to avoid any doubts about acceptability. Here are 4 examples of questionable agreements. And here are alternatives to the questionable usages that no one is likely to find fault with. Quiz page. Pause the video if you want to review the questions and answers before continuing. So you've come to the end of this lesson on some of the difficulties that even native speakers have with this aspect of English grammar. In the description below this video you will find a link to the lesson index page shown on the left. As you can see, there are 4 ways to access the content, as well as a glossary and links to quizzes and more information on the topic.